Welcome to the Geek Speak Show.
People who get it, get it.
This is the Geek Speak Show.
Interviews with the movers and shakers in geek culture.
This is Mark Zickery, writer, producer, and director of Space Command.
Hey, this is Todd McFarlane, creator of Spawn, and one of the original founders of Image Comics.
Hi, I'm Chris Hardwick.
Geek is spoken here.
They're listening. You're consuming. You're watching it with your ears. Oh, you just listen.
The Geek Speak Show is powered by GeekTyrant.com, GameTyrant.com, MightyVille.com, RamaScreen.com, and ZergNet.com.
Please make a note of it.
Here are the hosts of the Geek Speak Show, Henry San Miguel and Rachel Roselli.
Who else would it be? We're here on the Geek Speak Show. I bet, Rachel, you wish you were here actually back in San Francisco because the Force is coursing very strong through San Francisco.
I know. It's so exciting. I wish we could go through that whole thing with them and video it and whatever, but you guys, as well as me, will be watching it online instead, I'm sure.
Well, actually, I might go out there later today because, now you're going to wish you really were here. What they're doing today is pretty cool. They're running, of course, but they're going to take a little break. And I think remember where the Metreon Theater is? There's a little, I think it's called Yerba Buena Gardens or somewhere on there. They're going to have lightsaber battles. Because the one you mentioned, not the Ultra Sabers, the other one, the FX is the one you can fight with, right? That doesn't break?
No, the Ultra Sabers are the ones that you can fight with that don't break. The Master Replica ones, you don't really want to bang those around too much.
Well, they can afford it over at Nerdist, but actually, they're I think they're one of the sponsors, Master Replica. So that's why they had that. That's who provided the saber. That's the torch that they pass by. So they're gonna do that, and you can either take you can be a Jedi, you can be a Sith, you can be a combination of both, whatever you want. Of course, I'll have the red lightsaber. You would have had a aquamarine, blue, purple, whatever color, or all of the above. So that's how you guys can go to courseoftheforce.com. Or I think StarWarsActually.com also has a link to it. You guys can check it all out there. Or you go to Chris's YouTube channel, Nerdist, and they'll post it all up there. So that's what's happening, of course, leading up to next week, a little shindig in San Diego. I think most of you will be there for that. I know you're going to be there. I'm not. I'm going to stay here this time around. But maybe next year we'll have a big announcement to make about San Diego and the Geek Speak Show.
We're always planning in the background.
Scheming is...
Yes.
Well, planning is what we do. But something else we do while we scheme and sit on the couch and do that is watch TV, of course. Not too many things going on, at least not... I know there's a million shows out there, but not things that, if you listen to the Geek Speak Show, that you care about. Except for a couple. TNT's Falling Skies and Under the Dome. What is it? Third episode, Under the Dome, just aired. You just told me you actually it's on your DVR. You haven't seen it yet.
Right.
Honestly, you're not missing much. Literally nothing happened.
That seems like a theme so far.
I hope not, because
I'm concerned a little bit.
I know Brian K. Vaughan wrote on Lost. I hope it doesn't go the Lost way, where it was literally lost for end of season 2 into season 3. We won't even talk about something about 3s. Spider-Man. Never mind. X3, but. Yeah, it found its way afterwards. But now, all we found out in this one, I'm not spoiling anything for you. You haven't seen it yet. If you do get around to watching it, I'm not spoiling anything because it was a big duh. We found out that Junior, the guy that has the girl under the underground in the bunker, Junior has daddy issues.
Oh, gee.
Really? Among the other millions of issues that he has, the kidnapper, he has a Han Solo thing, the dome comes over the town and everybody gets delusions of grandeur. He has that also. So we knew that about Junior already. You didn't really tell us anything. Barbie is more mysterious because now the reporter that he's staying with, who he actually killed the husband, but she doesn't know. Now she's trying to find out more about him, but that's where it stops. She looks at his ID or whatever, and okay, maybe she found out something. We'll find out next week. I think, maybe. So, as you can tell, nothing much really happened. Falling Skies, however, did you get a chance to catch up before anything?
No, I haven't. Remember I said I was finishing True Blood first, which I'm almost done, and then we got to go to Falling Skies.
What a geek. But you might want to remove your headphones for this one. And everybody who has it in your DVR, I'm going to spoil a few things. It is really good. I mean, you'll like this when you catch up because they listen. The first season was kind of slow, and I realize you have to establish who the characters are, so we give a damn about them if one of them dies or not. You did that. they listen to us, unlike Terra Nova. They listen to us, and the action has really picked up a lot. But it also has enough story for you to care during the action scenes. It very much feels, it's not really him running it, but it does have Spielberg's feel all over it. Where, you know, Spielberg is a master of giving you great, phenomenal, epic scenes, but you have the human element in it also. You actually do care whether those people shoot Elliot and E.T. and the kids or not, or what happens with the Super 8 kids and all that. 'Cause that was, Spielberg had some hand in it too also. Didn't he, JJ? But TNT's Falling Skies, you know, now what's happened is, the only thing I will say, and again, this is the spoiler part, I already warned you guys, Tom Mason has resigned his position as president of Charleston, and they're going to go out searching for Anne and the scary alien baby. I hope this doesn't turn into AMC's The Walking Dead season 2, when most of the you want to know because that scares you. But most of the season was spent searching for Sophia, and it wasn't until the very end when we discovered, oh, she's a walker. She's been a walker this whole time. I hope this doesn't turn into that. Hope they do find her, and you know the story moves along, because it is going somewhere. I can see. So that again, that's
speaking of The Walking Dead.
Well, which one, comic or TV?
It doesn't matter. In general, I did see that her universe, the clothing line of geeky things for girls by Ashley Eckstein, voice of Ahsoka, they just released Walking Dead apparel.
Yeah, I saw that actually. She tweeted it, I think, a couple days ago.
So, you know, if you're a chick and you like that show, you should check that out.
Yeah, I figured, of course, you and probably Drea Letamendi for the first one to say, oh, look, I'm going to start ordering. So, yeah, that's on there. Speaking of, we will talk, Drea. She will come back on, and because she has now 3 panels at Comic-Con. So she was going to come on and talk about this Trek versus Wars that they're going to redo at Comic-Con. But now she's got 2 other panels, and she'll come on and talk about those. That'll be part of next week's show. See, that's called a tease. I'm such a tease sometimes. But staying with TV, though, speaking of Comic-Con, yeah, we're going to talk to David Glanzer. There's another tease. David Glanzer next week also, because there's not a show without having him come on. And they slowly revealed the full schedule for Comic-Con. Now we know, and no one is half the battle, especially at Comic-Con.
That was my line. Oh, I say that all the time.
Now we know, you know, and you guys probably noticed. I mean, it's kind of like with the Junior. Yeah, he has daddy issues. Duh. Same thing here. It's a huge TV presence in the panels. Walking Dead has a big panel. Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has a big panel. There's even shows that are not even on the air yet. They're coming up. They have big panels. And they're all in Hall H. They're not in the little, you know, the ballrooms on the side. They're in Hall H because people know. And I think, honestly, right now, I'm a little older than you. I always say that on the air. I'm a little older, and I remember when I was growing up watching TV, the only good genre TV that I remember was the original Battlestar for a little bit. Buck Rogers, but then it got a little too corny in like second seasons. But the only really good genre TV that I remember was V. First started with the miniseries, then the actual series, and even that started losing it. And then for a while there was nothing, unless you want to count like Knight Rider or things like that. But there was really nothing until now, a whole millennium later. And then we got the Fireflies, we got the X-Files, Fringe, Lost, Buffy, all the stuff that we have now. I really think, like in movies, we are ruling TV also because of the writers who come from this generation. Yeah. So, and I think that, you know, Comic-Con this year, you guys are going to see that reflected in the fact that, yeah, big TV presence, and they're all in Hall H. They're not in the little hall ballrooms to the side. Although, I will talk to David about this next week, I did notice, I think maybe it's a mistake that they made. Would you want to go to a panel about with Jeff Loeb about Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? And on the panel will be Jeff Loeb, of course. Kevin Feige will be there. Joss Whedon will be there. Agent Coulson will be there. You think there's going to be a few people lining up for that?
Dang, I would go to that.
What I would have done is I would have put it in Hall H. I would have put that one in Hall. Of all the ones not to put in Hall H, that would be the one to put in there.
Do you think it's because they think there's going to be so many people?
They're going to have to turn some away if there are, and there's going to be a few...
Like because of the line, and then they can cut it off and control it a little more. I don't know.
We joke about it now, but, you know, really, don't anybody stab anybody with any more pencils, okay? Just
calm down, okay?
Yeah. Everybody calm down. It'll be fine. But sticking with TV, that'll be we'll talk about that again next week in the Comic-Con show. Fox just announced that, and I got this actually from our own Mark Doris. I think he sent it to all of us. Like, look. He still likes comics, and even though he does video games now. You guys remember the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, the movie and the graphic novel from Alan Moore. Fox just announced that they have a put pilot commitment, and in layman's terms, that basically means that it's a for sure thing that it's gonna it's gonna be a pilot, it's gonna be a series. The 2003 film, yeah, I know some of you really like it. Some of you could do without it, but forget it. I enjoyed it. It wasn't a lot like the comic, wasn't anything like the comic book, really. But I enjoyed it. It also has a distinction of being forever known as Sean Connery's final film. Because after that, we never saw him again. So that's coming, not sure if it's going to be this fall or next fall, but it's coming to, I'm assuming, Fox or maybe FX, one of the two. It's not going to have any connections to the film. Sean Connery is not going to be in it. None of the actors will be in it. Michael Green will be the showrunner and one of the writers. He comes from NBC's Heroes and from ABC, The River, a show that I really liked, but again, short-lived. Erwin Soff, he's another one of the producers. He comes from a little movie 4 years ago called The Matrix. So they will be in charge of things. No actors have been announced yet, but it will be a series, The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. The other thing is Guillermo del Toro is going to be talked about a lot this weekend in a huge way. No, not because he's big himself. He makes so. By the way, go to our Facebook page. I put up the you and Joel took that video. You guys were sitting on the Pacific Rim panel. Yeah, you guys can watch that. It's on our Facebook page and on our YouTube page. I know the Kristen interview that you did was there, and it's got like 2 million hits. They didn't go anywhere. It's still there, but for just because it's Pacific Rim Week, I'm letting you guys take a look at that in case you missed it. But he also last year, if you regulars, if you remember, for the book club, I chose The Strain. It's 3 books written by Guillermo and Chuck Hogan. This is about vampires, but they don't sparkle. They're bloodthirsty, and what vampires are supposed to be, in other words. Plus, it's Guillermo. Why would he have sparkling vampires?
He wouldn't have sparkly vampires.
But The Strain is a comic book series. It went to a comic book series by Dark Horse Comics. I haven't read it. Maybe either Mark Doris or Jessica or comic
I haven't read it either.
They probably know about it, especially Jessica. That's something she doesn't have in common with you. Is she loves horror stuff where you don't. See that now you know why she's on the show. She loves sci-fi and she loves comics. Perfect. But The Strain is going to come to FX. It's going to be a series produced when they ordered a pilot. They've cast a couple of people. They just cast a Hobbit. Sean Astin and the Goonies now joins The Strain. He's going to play Jim Kent. Guillermo and Chuck Hogan, they're writing the pilot. Not sure. Carlton Cuse is the showrunner. Carlton Cuse, another name from Lost, along with Damon. They were running Lost, but now they're going to be running The Strain. And this one I want to see because, like I said, this is vampires done right. There's no,
okay.
I know we almost had to take out lightsabers last year when Ariel was here and you two started defending Twilight, and I said, no, we're not going to talk Twilight on this show.
Hey, there's something for everyone. We're not saying it's the best thing ever, but you know.
Oh, look, we lost Rachel. What happened? Oh, there you are.
Whatever.
Technical difficulties. Probably all the sparkling and stuff got in the board. So that's what's going on with TVs. Let's take a little break. When we come back, we'll listen to Joel geek out. We'll talk to Joe. Something special is happening this weekend. We were there last year. It was we did our pilot for the video show, and it was also the first. I guess it's an annual thing now. We'll ask Joe when he comes on. The Hulk Smash Brownie Day. It's happening this weekend. We're going to be there to cover all that. And if you guys follow him on his Facebook page, he had an event coming up because it's the 25th anniversary of Flying Colors. It was called the Super Secret Anniversary Event. Yeah. It's been revealed. We know the secret now. We'll tell Joel. We'll ask him, Joe, what's the secret? And he'll say, oh, yeah, let me tell you all about it, Henry. Yeah, I'll give you guys a hint. Excelsior. Gee, yeah, give it all away. So stay right there. We'll talk about that in just a few minutes.
Check this out. Geeking Out with Joe Capitana. Geeking Out and the Geek Speak Show are powered by Collider.com, GeekTyrant.com, GameTyrant.co, Mightyville.com, RamaScreen.com, and Zergnet.com. Here's Joe.
The Apple App Store is celebrating its 5-year anniversary, and to celebrate, they're giving away a bunch of free apps and games. In the beginning, in 2008, there were only 500 apps. Now there are over 900,000 at your fingertips. Check out the Apple App Store before it is too late. Marvel is now releasing weekly Infinite Comics for your mobile device. Infinite Comics interact with how you swipe, essentially eliminating that white border that we all associate with comics. The debut series is Wolverine, Japan's Most Wanted, soon to be followed by Iron Man, Fatal Frontier. For more info and to pre-order, visit comicstore.marvel.com. Congrats to SF-based Dropbox. The company now has over 175 million users and is valued at billions of dollars. Dropbox makes online storage simple so you can access and edit all your files and apps from any mobile device. Speaking of which, after extensive research, the FAA is expected to relax the ban on portable devices during takeoff and landing. This would allow you to use your tablet and smartphone on the plane, but only for data. No phone calls. Now let's talk video games. There's a new Grand Theft Auto 5 gameplay trailer that's all over the World Wide Web. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. It's 5 minutes of actual gameplay. Best Buy has sold out of online pre-orders for Xbox One. For now, the Xbox One is still available to pre-order on Amazon, Walmart, Target, and GameStop. GameStop, however, is sold out of PlayStation 4 pre-orders. EA has confirmed that they'll be removing New England Patriot Aaron Hernandez from Madden NFL 25 and NCAA Football 14. The decision came in response to the heat surrounding Hernandez as a murder suspect. Madden 25 geeks out August 27th. Now let's talk movies and or TV. Alan Moore and Kevin O'Neill's classic graphic novel, The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, is being adapted for a TV series, and Fox is developing the pilot episode. In Marvel movie news, Stan Lee confirmed that a Black Panther movie is being developed. At Wizard World Con, he also confirmed that a Doctor Strange film and an Inhumans movie are also being developed. He also added that he would love to see a standalone Silver Surfer movie, but who wouldn't? Word on the streets is that Charlie Kaufman, that's right, Charlie Kaufman, is adapting Kurt Vonnegut's Slaughterhouse 5 for the big screen. And word is Pacific Rim director Guillermo del Toro will be directing the film as well, but don't get too excited as the film is still years away from release. In the meantime, Del Toro is rewriting an outline for a Justice League Dark movie, aka Dark Universe. If you liked Russell Crowe as Jor-El in Man of Steel and would want to see a Krypton prequel, then listen to this. On his Twitter, Crowe tweeted, "A lot of you are asking about a Krypton prequel. If that's something you feel strongly about, let @Legendary Pictures know your thoughts." In other DC news, if you miss recently deceased Damian Wayne, aka Robin, aka Batman's son, you'll be interested to know that DC is bringing the character back in a 4-issue miniseries called Damian, Son of Batman. It'll flash forward to a potential future where Damian takes up his father's mantle as a caped crusader. The first issue geeks out on October 30th. For the first time ever, Comic-Con is proud to announce that Metallica will be performing at a secret location on Friday, July 19th after their panel for their upcoming 3D feature film, Metallica Through the Never. The Metallica panel is at 6:30 p.m. in Hall H. After Comic-Con is Disney's D23 Fan Expo. The big news here is, of course, Star Wars and Marvel, but mainly Star Wars. Early concepts of Darth Vader will be highlighted, as well as a panel called Star Wars Saga 101. That again is D23 at the Anaheim Convention Center on August 9th to 11th. More Star Wars news. A fan created a Star Wars mailbox. To open it up, you pull down on the helmet, and when there's mail in it, you point the lightsaber up. That's what she said. Lastly, one last fan story. A fan/artist Simpsonized the cast of Game of Thrones. The drawings are pretty spot on, especially the one of Tywin Lannister posing like Mr. Burns. Check out the Draw the Simpsons Tumblr page to see the pictures. So this concludes this jam-packed edition of Geeking Out with Joel. As usual, if you have any questions, concerns, or comments, please email me, joel@thegeekspeakshow.com, or you can holla on my Twitter @JoelJapitana. Till next time, today we are canceling the apocalypse. I'm not that cool when I say it.
Are you ready? Here's a Geek Speak Show quickie.
There's no way that the crowd can sit down.
None of us were sitting at the arena at the Anaheim Convention Center earlier this year at WonderCon Anaheim 2013. We got our first look and listen at Pacific Rim. July 12th couldn't come any sooner, but it's finally here. This weekend, Pacific Rim finally opens up in theaters all over the country. I suggest you all go see it in IMAX because this is a movie that you have to see and especially hear in IMAX. Giant robots, giant monsters, kaijus. It's Guillermo del Toro. Let's talk a little about it. Guillermo del Toro joins us now on the Geek Speak Show, director of Pacific Rim. Guillermo, how would you describe a movie like Pacific Rim?
Well, there are two great genres. One is the giant monster movie, the kaiju movie, and the other one is the giant robot movie that we all grew up with as kids. And this is essentially, in terms of spectacle and scope and size, is a movie that encompasses both of those subgenres. And it's almost like the action in the movie is what you would have dreamt to see when you were 11 years old.
Yeah, I would. As a matter of fact, I did. And whenever you think of giant monsters fighting giant robots, you immediately think of Japanese monster movies. Very famous one. Won't say who it is, but it's coming next year. That's all I'm going to say. But when you think of giant monster movies, you immediately think of a Japanese monster movie. But however, Pacific Rim, you don't describe it. It hasn't been described in the marketing specifically as a Japanese monster movie. Why not?
I wanted very much this movie to not be about a particular country saving the world. Because that movie I've seen too many times, I wanted it to be the world saving the world. So I needed a very strong black leader, a Japanese girl, 2 Australians, a Peruvian CTO, an American pilot. All of them together are necessary. A British scientist, all of them are necessary to save the world.
So sticking with the giant monsters, how'd you come up with the kaiju designs?
When we started planning on the kaijus, this comes from essentially from Japanese movies. This means monster and a giant monster. And the kaijus in Japan have many, many forms. They can have your basic insectoid, reptilian, flying, underwater kaijus. Then there's a floral or vegetable-based kaijus, and then they can get really, really insane. No, what I like when I design monsters, I constantly am trying to find a way to be able to look at a monster for 10, 15, 20 minutes or more and have that design constantly transforming.
How would you describe the act of drifting in the film?
To drift is to have a link between two different bodies that can instantly read each other. If you want to go left, you don't have to say go to the left. If you want to go into a defense pose, you can go into a defense pose. The idea I came up with was to systematize it through martial arts. So there would be a basic language, basic number of poses that you would be able to adopt in a fight with a kaiju. So it's very easy to know that vocabulary for the fighters. And I wanted to make one the type of scientist that is big personality, very arrogant, very cocky, sure of himself, tattoos all over the body, sort of a celebrity chef. I wanted him to have the mentality of a celebrity chef. And the other guy is more like a tweed-wearing, English, phlegmatic, introvert that never leaves the lab. And they are incompatible. One of them is arrogant and full of himself, and the other one is modest and very much by the numbers and hates this other guy being such a maverick. And between the two, I wanted the dynamic again of people that don't get along, but when the time comes can function together really, really well.
Now, when you go see Pacific Rim, we kind of know what to expect from it, but how do you balance between enough action, but also having a story that will make us care about the characters?
Throughout the movie, I was very, very, very careful to balance big CG spectacle with really great moments that were human-based. And not only by cutting inside the compound and seeing the actors going through it, but also in many instances interspersing a big fight with a purely actor-driven moment.
So that again is director Guillermo del Toro. Pacific Rim opens up this weekend in theaters all over again. I suggest you all see it in IMAX so you can see it and hear it in the way it was intended. Now, thanks to a nerdy friend at Legendary, I was able to get another exclusive interview just for you guys with Guillermo del Toro. Here he is again. talking about what else? Pacific Rim.
Wow is all I have to say. This is fantastic. And I just want to know, are you the kind of guy who wakes up in the middle of the night after either a dream or a nightmare and writes it down?
No.
Where does this come from then?
I have the most boring nightmares and dreams. And I mean, I've had like 4 good dreams in my life. And the rest are boring and pedestrian, you know. I'm going to the store, coming from the store, nothing important. But I think that, on the other hand, my days are spent in complete useless imagination. I'm just fantasizing about everything. I'm waiting in a restaurant for my order to come, and I'm thinking if somebody on the other table is hiding a murder, if they're going to be coming from outer space, whatever it is, I'm fantasizing all day long.
Well, amazing, because this is just, I'm watching it going, how does he think of this stuff? And for you, I mean, every time I talk to you, you're like a kid in a candy store, and you just keep getting younger and younger and having more fun.
I do.
This must have been, it's your dream project, I would think.
It is. It's sort of all of my bucket list in one movie. I really love this movie so much. It comes straight from the most genuine place of my heart. It's a movie that takes a genre that is either forgotten or the object of nostalgia and wholeheartedly embraces it without postmodern winking and nudging, It's a poem to giant monster movies.
Yeah, and you knew, though, it was going to be a huge undertaking. What you did in Toronto, I mean, you used every soundstage you could possibly use. Yes. You built these huge sets, and then you put your actors through the worst torture I think anybody in the history of directing has ever done.
Yes.
How did you know that you were going to get through all of it?
I knew because I basically, a director's gift is like an explorer's, not to give in, not to quit. And as long as you don't, you're going to arrive to the ending with a couple of explorers behind you left. Many will die on the journey, but you get there. I mean, you look at the Everest, you look at the top, and you go, hey, let's get there. And you don't think about it after planning it and planning it and planning it. Once you're climbing, you don't stop.
So what really challenged you in this whole thing?
It's a stamina. I mean, just lasting. You got to be made of very hard plastic to make the journey. You have to really be able to be fiscally responsible, technically proficient, artistically minded. It's a whole combination of features that allow a director to survive.
And you have some, fantastic actors in this, and really they took that journey with you, yes. Hook, line, and sinker. But when they, just take me back for the first day you put people, like Rinko or Charlie and Eldris in those con pods and made them, they're ultimately doing a 12-hour workout per day, you know?
It was really horrible for me too. I know that it doesn't look that way for them because I was in a monitor with a cappuccino, but my heart was breaking for them. Honestly, I'm being not ironic. It's as savvy as as terrible as it sounds. But I was there suffering because they were in pain. The first day was Rob Kaczynski and Max Martini, and second day we had fixed a lot of the problems. Third day, we had fixed a lot of the problems. Then fourth day comes Idris and Rob. And it was tough. It was like starting all over. And by the time Charlie came in, we had solved X amount of problems. But they had a 2-ton machine on their back, digging in. They were on an exercise machine. They had 2 machines strapped to their arms. Every movement was like being in an exercise machine. And then I started throwing water and fire and smoke and steam at them and sparks. Poor people. I like them, but...
Oh, well, you know what? I think at the end of the day, they were all happy that they did it.
No, and I did it with love.
Yeah. And they love working with you. What is your secret? How do you keep such happy sets, especially under such strain?
I care, and I think that I did about 12, 13 movies as part of a crew before directing. And if you want to direct well, you need to be part of a crew. If you want to command, you need to obey before, and you learn to follow orders. And I think that when an actor feels lonely, when somebody in the set is super tired, and you try to, within still achieving your end, you try to keep telling them, I know where you are, I know how you feel, I'm with you.
Yeah, that's good. Well, they felt it for sure. In the film, obviously, the co-pilot, they have to drift, they have to mind meld. Who in real life would you want to be your co-pilot?
I think Stephen King. I would love that. I would love to get all his ideas. He can get all my ideas. I would love to know where his mistakes, and how he learned from them, everything.
You worked on this film with ILM. Yeah. My goodness, did they exceed your expectations?
Yes, they did. I mean, I think, once again, I think that what a director does is create an environment where people think they can invest the best of themselves, and it will be rewarded by showcasing it. And I feel that we had a very good relationship in that. They knew they were going to work hard, but they knew I would take care of them at the end of the day.
Yeah, you've given us so many great things, and then obviously I know it's been 5 years since you actually directed a film. You've producing up the wazoo. But why finally? Why was it so long that you decided to wait?
Well, I didn't decide. I spent 2 years in The Hobbit and 1 year on Mountains of Madness, and then Pacific Rim. I mean, the two movies that didn't happen were unfortunately very elaborate movies.
What was the role, or the movie that changed your life just completely, that you worked on and just set you on your course?
I think the first movie, Kronos, and then probably Pan's Labyrinth. Pan's reached a much wider audience than the other movies, and it gave coherence to all the other movies before, and it demonstrated that all those things that I was doing had a reason and had a structure to it.
Yeah, I want to go back a little bit about the casting, because you picked some, like I said earlier, some amazing actors. But why ultimately Charlie Hunnam for this?
I like Charlie because he has a very sort of uncomplicated, good heart, and it comes across. I mean, he's a guy that is ultimately a good guy, one of the few genuine good guys I know on earth, and that comes across in the movie. He can play a hardcore biker in Sons of Anarchy, but I believe his nature is closer to Rolly.
Yeah. You're going to be back in Toronto, and we always love having you. You're going to be working your next film as Crimson Peak, and I'm really excited because you've cast Benedict Cumberbatch in that. Can you just tell us a little bit about what to expect from that film?
Yeah. Crimson Peak is a really, at the same time, a very traditional Gothic romance with ghosts and all that, and a creaky house and all that. But at the same time, has very extreme violence and kinky erotic elements. So,
Another one of your dreams. That one I'm sure is a dream.
No, I am pretty meat and potatoes.
And Jessica Chastain is going. Yeah. She is brilliant, that woman.
Mia Wasikowska, Jessica, Benedict, and Charlie Hunnam.
I'm Zach, and you're listening to the Geek Speak Show.
Hold on a second. Once more, with flavor.
Yeah. Oh, I'm Zach Whedon, and you're listening to the Geek Speak Show.
It's compelling. What's gonna happen to these kids?
Go ahead, sing along. You want to, Rachel.
Well, I was actually thinking we recorded that at some place we're going to talk about now.
Yeah, in Concord, one of the greatest comic book stores ever. Flying Colors and other cool stuff. A lot of big cool stuff coming. We'll talk about that in just a minute. But back on friend of the show, Joe Field. Joe, welcome back to the show.
Good to be with you, Henry and Rachel. How are you?
Doing great. Getting all ready for this Saturday. This Saturday is going to be... We did it last year. We premiered our video show, and it was the first... I don't know. Can we say it's annual now? Because is it going to be an annual event now?
This is the second annual Hulk Smash Brownie Saturday.
Yeah, so Hulk Smash... Rachel is not going to be there, but she's already missing the brownies.
I know.
Can you smell them from here?
I can, actually. I said that earlier.
I don't know if that's trademark. Maybe we should make a T-shirt that says, "Can you smell the brownies that Libby is cooking?" Yeah, but it's going to be happening this Saturday, Hulk Smash Brownie Day. When is it going to start, Joe? 10 o'clock?
No, we open at 11, and the brownies will start at about noon. But the fun goes all day long, so we just want to invite everyone to come on in. It's a pretty low-key event, really. Essentially what we're doing is we're just celebrating the fact that my wife makes the most incredible brownies in the entire world. They are creamed immense laced brownies, and because of that greenness, we have redubbed them Hulk Smash Brownies because, we're geeks. So, so it's a great excuse to come on down, talk some comics, and have some delicious brownies along with it.
Yeah, we're gonna be there too. We'll point the camera if you want. We'll point the camera on you guys, and you can talk about comics. And there's gonna be a big movie that came out this weekend. You can talk about that if you want. Don't spoil it yet for the people who haven't yet seen it yet. We're also going to we did it last year, and maybe I'll post up a video, and I know you have a video also. We're going to do the Comic Slam, so tell everybody what that's about.
Comic Slam is a Flying Colors favorite. It is when we take dialogue from comics and read it dramatically. The Comic Slam is sort of a takeoff of the old beat poetry slams where beatniks would be hanging out in dark, dusty places with their long-tailed cigarettes and frothy drinks and reciting things by beat poets. So what we've done is we have adapted that to the comics world, and we take some of our favorite monologues and dialogues from comics and recite them in dramatic fashion, and it's a really fun time. You can see some of that stuff up on our YouTube page, and you guys were here last year to shoot some of them too. So it's up on your page too, I bet.
Yeah,
it is.
We'll put some up, and if you guys want to see the whole thing, you guys can go to our YouTube page. Just look for the Geek Speak video show pilot. It's all on there from Flying Colors. You see me talking to Joe. He tells you the story of Flying Colors, and the comic slam is in there in the middle. And the Flying Colors faithful, they're all a bunch of fun. We know that because we talked to them at Free Comic Book Day. But they really get into it. They get up on the mic and even you took up you did the Silver Surfer. You had your own surfboard and everything. So everybody really gets into it. And it's all ages. We had on our video there's a baby that was trying to get the microphone, but his dad was still trying to do it. Everybody has a lot of fun. And that's what it's all about. Just go there, have a lot of fun, talk comics, reenact comics, and the Brownies, of course, are the main attraction there.
Well, yes, they are the star of the event on this Saturday. However, it's just really for us, it's a great excuse to bring people in and just have a good time talking comics and talking about all the different things that are going on. And actually, with it just being a few days before the San Diego Comic-Con, it's sort of our pre-Comic-Con party. And I think people will just have a good time here. And for all of those who weren't able to get tickets to Comic-Con, well, come on in and hang out with other people who love comics, and you'll pick up some of that same Comic-Con vibe here on Saturday.
Yes.
And costumes are encouraged. Is that correct?
Always.
Yes, anytime.
Especially for the comic
always.
slam. That would be interesting to see you reenacted dressed as your favorite comic book character.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes. Well, I will be dressed as Retailer Man, but that's how I dress 6 days a week. And come on down. Just have a good time. We're all about just showing how comics are just like that gooey, sweet center of pop culture, and that everything else in pop culture revolves around what happens in the comics. And so that's kind of what we celebrate this Saturday.
Yeah, which is very true. I mean, you mentioned Comic-Con. We were just talking about earlier in the show when we started about it. We're teasing our next week's Comic-Con show. And I know now that the full programming is out, I noticed that it's a big TV presence at Comic-Con this year. Walking Dead's going to have a big panel. The Shield TV show is going to have a big panel. Like you just said, Joe, all of that comes from comic books. Like Walking Dead, the biggest show on TV right now, came from a comic book. The Avengers, biggest movie last year, came from a comic book. A lot of these things, even things that you wouldn't think are comic books, like Men in Black, that was a comic book also.
Right.
Jonah Hex.
Even Pacific Rim is sort of a riff on Neon Genesis. So
yeah.
Right, and then we have another movie coming out, I think this week or next week, that's Two Guns. It's based on a Boom Studios comic, and we have all kinds of different things that are based on comics, and it's that other media tend to get their best ideas from comics, and So what we like to do on a very regular basis, because we are a comic book stores, we like to call attention to the fact that if you want to know what's happening in the rest of pop culture tomorrow, you get in and see what's happening in comics today.
Yeah, exactly. And again, Hulk Smash Brownie Day happens this Saturday at Flying Colors Comics. You can go to the website, and all the information is on there. Those of you who follow Joe on their Facebook, they had looked like the Riddler, a lot of question marks. It was a super secret 25th anniversary event. The secret is out. They revealed it. I think it was Monday or earlier this week. Joe, go ahead and reveal what is going to be happening.
Oh, yes, we announced yesterday that our super secret 25th anniversary event on Wednesday, August 7th, we will be having none other than the living legend himself, Stan Lee, here at Flying Colors. It's a very limited event. He'll only be here for a couple of hours, so we're going to do what we can to get as many people through to have Stan give him an autograph and a photo, and we have the packages available for those, and that's really going to be the only way you're going to get to say hi to Stan or get an autograph is by buying one of the autograph and photo packages. And since we announced it last night, we had a nice little lineup of people today in the store wanting to buy the packages. So the sooner you buy them, the better place in line you're going to have. We're gonna do a priority signing that those who buy first are first in line. And since we have a limited number of these photo and autograph packages that we can reasonably expect to move through during that time that he'll be here, we really encourage anyone who's interested in doing that to get into the store soon. The only way you buy the tickets is by buying them here in store at Flying Colors.
Yeah, and whenever Stan is there at any convention, he has some limitations on how many people can be in the pictures. Do you know if they're gonna follow that at Flying Colors?
There will be some of those limitations as well. Although we may do the small family shot, that sort of thing, but it's not going to be a deal where you can buy one picture and have 15 of your friends in the photo, because we just won't have the space to be able to handle that. It's a very, very limited kind of deal.
Right,
and also, what about the autographs?
Yeah.
Yeah, is he just doing comic books, or does he sign whatever you bring?
It's one flat item, which should probably be a comic book that he had something to do with. He does refuse to sign comics that he had nothing to do with, or that are unauthorized, and there are some unauthorized Stan Lee comics out there. So he is signing things that he worked on. So there's plenty of those out there. So I'm pretty sure we can do that. If someone else had a photo of Stan that they had taken with him at one point, and they want to bring that in as their one item to sign, he can do that too.
Yeah, I mean, just to keep it simple, don't bring anything. Don't bring a book from the Distinguished Competition or something from Image or somebody else, because Stan probably had nothing to do with that.
You shouldn't do that anyway. So let's just play nice.
Yeah.
My goal here is to provide a really special experience as a part of our 25th anniversary to all the people who've been really good to us over the years, and I understand that it's not going to be a deal where you're going to be able to have a nice long conversation with Stan. It's going to be a very quick, hi, how are you, sign and photo and see you kind of deal. But it's an incredibly rare thing for him to do a signing at a comic book store. So he generally will not do signings unless they're at a convention setting or some space where there's a whole lot more space to be able to handle the crowd. So what we're going to do is we're going to be very careful about how many people we sell the packages to, how many people are in line. If there's room, we'll have a standby line for those who are willing to wait to see if we can move the line fast enough and get more people through. But essentially what we wanted to do is we just wanted to bring the living legend of comics to flying colors for our 25th anniversary, and I'm just ecstatic that Stan has agreed to be here for it.
Yeah, and for the few that may not know the story, there's actually a good reason to bring Stan Lee to Flying Colors, because you do have a connection with Stan from earlier in your story. So tell us that for those who may not know your connection to Stan Lee.
Well, I've definitely overplayed this over the years, so I will be the first one to admit that. But I back in the 1980s, when I was working for KJOY Radio in Stockton, California, I did a promotion to have Marvel Comics name Stockton as the official birthplace of the Fantastic Four for Marvel's 25th anniversary, and so that happened, and Marvel took me up on it. It was a great big deal and a lot of fun, and we had a huge event on the steps of City Hall in Stockton, and Marvel sent Stan Lee and Spider-Man along to accept the city's the key to the city, and it was just a really fun time. You can see some of the footage from that is up on our YouTube page as well. But at the end of the whole deal, Stan said to me that he thought I did a really great job on putting the whole thing together. And I said, well, Stan, if you ever need anyone for promotion or public relations or whatever, just give me a buzz. And I was really stunned when a few months later he called and said that his wife's first novel was going to be published, and he wanted me to do press relations and gather interviews and reviews of her book in different media for her first novel. And so I spent the next few months talking with Stan and his lovely wife Joan every day of the week. Here's what we've got for you today. This is the radio station you're going to be on. This is the TV station. This is the newspaper that's covering it, whatever. And it was an unofficial gig. It was an unpaid gig, but it was one that I had a really great time doing. And through that, Stan became one of the guests at the first few WonderCons, because I then got involved with WonderCon as a result of my Fantastic Four and Stockton deal. And so Stan and I have sort of had this connection, and although I'm not in close contact with him, haven't really been in close contact with him for the last 10 or 12 years, he was the one who, when Flying Colors opened on our first day, he was the first message on my phone answering machine back then in 1988, congratulating me on opening the store and wishing me all the success. And here it is 25 years later, and he's 27 years ago we celebrated the 25th anniversary of Marvel Comics in Stockton, and now we're celebrating the 25th anniversary of Flying Colors by having Stan come to the store. And really, the Stan event is an awesome deal, and I'm so pleased with it. But we also have other things going on all year long, all kinds of events going on that are a lot of fun. In September, we're going to have the only Northern California appearance of superstar artist Jim Lee on Saturday, September 14th. So we have the two big Lees from the comics biz visiting Flying Colors this year, and I couldn't be more happy about that.
Where else would you want to be? I was going to say, actually,
I know.
Joe, I think any of us would take whatever it would be, driving Stan around. Even if you didn't get paid, I think we would love to spend the entire day just being in Stan Lee's presence.
It's a lot of fun, and there's always a buzz around him, and I wouldn't be surprised if there are media at that event on Wednesday, August 7th to cover Stan's appearance here. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, so that's the 25th anniversary, no longer super secret event. That Stan Lee will be at Flying Colors, and go there and not, again, like Joe said, not just Stan Lee, but also wish everybody, Joe and everybody at Flying Colors, happy anniversary, 25 years of being one of the best comic book stores here in the Bay Area. This Saturday, Hulk Smash Brownie Day, be there for that. Starts at 11 o'clock. We're going to be there. We'll do the Comic Slam, start picking whatever you want to read up there. We'll put the camera on you guys and put you up on YouTube and make you stars for that weekend. So, Joe, we'll see you this weekend. Thanks a lot. You know, you're always welcome here on the Geek Speak Show.
Great to be with you guys.
Toys for you and your iMachine. Bits and Pixels with Mark Dorris.
Looking to get your hands on a pre-order for the next-gen console? Well, you might be cutting it a little close. Best Buy is no longer taking pre-orders for the Xbox One, while GameStop is no longer taking pre-orders for the PlayStation 4. No word on whether Best Buy will be cutting off pre-orders for the PlayStation 4 and GameStop the Xbox One, but they are going fast, so you probably shouldn't wait. If the consoles are both released in November, which, let's face it, is incredibly likely due to the holidays rolling just around the corner, then you should not wait to get your hand on one of your own. The Grand Theft Auto 5 gameplay trailer has been released, showing new mechanics, changing weapons, and playable characters. It isn't news there will be 3 playable characters in the next installment of the incredibly popular and successful franchise by Rockstar Studios, but as to how or when you would take over different characters remained a mystery. The 5-minute video released shows changing characters at ease during missions where more than one playable character are present, such as when one character is robbing a bank and then you quickly toggle over and change another character on a nearby building who's using a sniper rifle to take out hard-to-reach enemies. Customizing cars and flying planes are back with an added feature where the player will be able to scuba dive and explore vast bodies of water. The swimming aspect is rather new as well to the franchise, but scuba diving is a whole new opportunity for the gameplay. The open world game is the largest in this series, having boasted a fully explorable world bigger than Vice City and San Andreas combined. Be on the lookout for the release, unless they changed again, this September on the 17th. Now, I recently picked up the High Moon Studios Deadpool video game. Now, to listeners who heard me rambling on during the comics commentary, they know I am no stranger to the character, as he is in fact one of, if not, my favorite Marvel characters. Now, this isn't the first time the popular Merc with the Mouth has been in a video game, but it is the first time he has starred as the title character. Nolan North is back voicing Wade Wilson, aka Deadpool, and he brings his skills in voice acting with him. Which, as a fan, it hurts for me to say that the most enjoyable part of the game is the humor. The character is constantly berating the player with insults as he breaks a fourth wall, realizing that he is in a video game, but with that aside, it's just a constant button masher against slightly stronger enemies as the game progresses. Stephen Blum, who we love here in the Geek Speak Studios, is back to voice Wolverine, who plays a minor yet humorous role in the game just before he's knocked unconscious indefinitely when Deadpool takes over as pilot for the X-Men's jet and crashes it into Genosha, home of the Sentinels. From there, we see other characters and nods to other characters like Sinister, Rogue of the X-Men, Cable from Cable and Deadpool and their long-running franchise and comics together. Now, as much as I love Deadpool, the game gets rather boring, even playing it on the hardest difficulty, which, you know, let's face it, I like to do. It seems fun for about 20 minutes and then gets boring as you deal with the same pull over here, jump over this wall, or shoot this enemy. It just leaves a bad taste in your mouth. I, for one, haven't beaten the game as of yet, but I'm several hours in, as I'm torn between that game and the games I picked up during Microsoft's recent Ultimate Game sale last week that just ended. Max Payne 3, like I said, was $10. Metal Gear Rising I picked up at half off for $30. Now, even though that has ended, be sure to check out Sony's summer sale on the PlayStation Network, as they have a lot of great deals going on right now. That's it for now, guys. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at DorisUndead, where we will chat all things consoles and games, and we'll see you next week, just in time for Comic-Con.
I'm Attaboy, and this is the Geek Speak Show.
So guess what you're listening to? Yeah, the Geek Speak Show. So we've done a little bit of everything. Got some Jaeger talk, some Kaiju talk. Joe revealed finally what the secret is. Told you, and I gave it all away when I said Excelsior. He should come up with something a little bit different that makes it a little bit more mysterious. But check the Facebook page. I'll have some links up on there. You guys can go on there and get your the tickets. Remember, Joe said they're only on sale today only, and probably like Comic-Con will be gone. You know, when I think
immediately. Yeah,
like 2 nanoseconds after they go on sale, gone. Yeah. This Saturday we talked about Hulk Smash with Joe. This Saturday also at our other friend is where we did the second episode of the video show, Lee's Comics. They will be celebrating their 31st anniversary with a sale at both locations, the San Mateo and the Mountain View one. You guys can go to lcomics.com, get all the details. But before you go there, here, listen, I'll just do it the easy way. I'll give it to you. Treat me like an iMachine. Just let it do the work. Instead of saying Siri, say, Henry, what's happening at Lee's 31st anniversary sale? Well, I'm glad you asked. Never mind. So it's like I said, this Saturday at both stores starting at 10 o'clock. Now, big line's going to be there. Well, I don't know how it is over there in Southern California, Rachel. Are bags allowed? Like when you go shopping?
They are. It's a little different than San Francisco. You can get whatever you want, and I mean they frown at you if you don't recycle or whatever, but it's not nearly as crazy.
Just frown right back at them. But everything is different in San Francisco. But something else to be proud of. We're the ones that kicked it off. Yeah, you can't use bags anymore, even though everybody still does, the plastic ones. So everybody brings the tote bags. You've seen some of them like at the last time we were at Flying Colors for Free Comic Book Day. We gave them out the E24 ones when they were with us. Lee is introducing the Lee's Comics black canvas tote bag. He's gonna give out to the first 50 people in line. He's gonna give you those for free. You can't buy them yet, so that you can whenever you go on Wednesday, you can load up your Lee's tote bag with that. And the first 20 are gonna be stuffed with something Rachel likes, not lightsabers, or maybe action figure collectibles from the store. It'll be collectibles. It'll be T-shirts. It'll be he'll grab some stuff and put them in the first 20 only. So get there early, and also he's going to raffle off three $31 because it's a 31st anniversary. Get it? $31.
Got it.
$31 gift certificates. You have to be there though at 11 a.m. He'll give them out, and I think you can only use it that day, this Saturday, and only at the Mountain View location. And back issues, 25 cents. They'll all be in the long boxes in the parking lot, so you can go through there. We said it last year when we talked about it. You're not going to find Action Comics number 1. You're not going to find Superman number 1 or Amazing Fantasy for 25 cents. Because if you do, it's Lee's staff that made the mistake. They'll have to give it to you for 25 cents. But I don't think it's going to happen. So all of that
but either way, 25 cents, it's worth it for anything that you're looking for or getting into something new.
Yeah, and just comic books, not graphic novels. It's just comic books, but they're pretty good ones. They're not just, whatever, here, we can't sell this and we'll throw it out there. It's actually going to be some classic comics, some Spider-Man, Batman, classic comics, back issues. You can get them for 25 cents. So shop away to your heart's content. So all that is going on this Saturday at Lee's, both locations, Mountain View and in San Mateo. Lee's 31st anniversary sale. Remember, the first 50 people will get a free canvas tote bag, the black one with the big Lee's logo on it, done by Alex Ross. And the first 20 bags at both stores will be stuffed with action figures, T-shirts, maybe the world famous Lee's Frisbee that I had last year at the show. Maybe there'll be some in there. You don't know. You never know what's going to be in there. So, again, that's happening.
It'll be worth it.
This Saturday. Go to lcomics.com for all the details. I'd say we'll see you there, but we'll probably be too busy eating the brownies with Joe. But we'll be there in spirit. We'll say happy anniversary to Lee because he's another good friend of the show. So that's what is happening. Now, talking about movies so much, we forgot to mention there were 2 movies that came out over the 4th of July weekend. One, didn't we really care about, The Lone Ranger. Obviously, nobody else did because
no one did.
Despicable Me 2, I was excited about. Obviously, you guys were too because it's been over 120 million or whatever it was. We didn't talk about it. I don't know if you got a chance to see it, Rachel.
No, but everyone else I know did, and they said it was awesome. And they were very, their expectations were met, and they were really excited about it. So,
if you're still on the fence, because I know not a lot of you went to the movie theaters because you were out blowing things up. I mean, blowing fireworks and everything up. Here's our new guy, our new movie reviewer. Pacing Pete is his name. The reason why, before you ask, why are you Pacing Pete? That's a nickname that he had since childhood because he can't sit still. He's always pacing around the room. Cool dude. He watches. He likes all the stuff that we like. So here he goes. He's going to talk about Despicable Me 2. No spoilers. He'll just tell you whether it was a good movie, not good movie, whether you should go see it or not. Make your own decisions after that. But here he is, Pacing Pete, with the first movie review on Despicable Me 2.
Watch it? Don't watch it? Let's find out.
Please make a note of it.
Pacing Pete's movie reviews, exclusively on The Geek Speak Show.
This past 4th of July weekend, Groot, Margot, Edith, Agnes, and the Minions made a triumphant return with Despicable Me 2. The follow-up to its very successful 2010 predecessor will leave the audiences laughing, cheering, and wanting more, which after its very strong box office opening, I have no doubt we will soon get. It can be tough to follow up with any sequel, especially an animated one. Many times a movie loses its magic that helped make it so successful the first time around, and we're left with just another kids movie. One might say, well, isn't that the point? On the contrary, Toy Story did a fantastic job of consistently entertaining audiences of all ages for 3 straight movies. This brings me to Despicable Me 2. While it may have lost just a slight bit of magic from the first film, it's still big on laughs, heart, and the cuteness of those darn minions. Which, by the way, don't be fooled by the full court press marketing of these little guys. They serve a huge purpose. They're in the movie a lot. But that's not a bad thing. In the sequel, we find Groot, a reformed man. He's doing everything from holding birthday parties for his children to creating delicious jams and jellies. He's no longer intent on being an evil supervillain. All seems right with Groot until an unknown villain begins causing havoc on the world. This gets the attention of the Anti-Villain League, and they seek out Groot to stop him. It's here that he's paired with Lucy, voiced by the always funny Kristen Wiig, in an attempt to locate this evil genius. The chemistry between these two characters is very cute and funny, and sets up nicely for the resolution at the end of the film. For spoilers' sake, I won't reveal who the villain is. It's a bit of a small twist. It's not exactly a Kaiser Sose reveal, but it's fun nonetheless. Steve Carell is back and great as Groot, and the kids are back as well, and it's funny watching them go through their different changes. Margot, noticing boys, Edith, training to be a ninja, and Agnes, she's always cute. There's even a moment when Groot is tucking her into bed and says, "Good night, Agnes. Don't ever get old." She's so adorable. I can't agree more. The Minions, do I really need to go into how cute these guys are? There are times that they just steal the scenes in this movie, and that's not a bad thing. They're just awesome. This is the kind of movie everyone, young and old, can enjoy. I very much recommend this film, and on a scale of crawling to the theater versus running, I would say you can lightly jog and not be disappointed. It's a great time at the movies. If you enjoyed my review or disagree with it, let me know. You can email me, pacingpete@thegeekspeakshow.com, or you can find me on Twitter @pacingpete. Stay classy, and I'll see you at the movies.
What did you think of the movie? Send an email to pacingpete@thegeekspeakshow.com. This is the Geek Speak Show Book Club. Sci-fi, fantasy, horror, graphic novels, biographies. You'll hear them here on the Geek Speak Show Book Club.
Now, I've always wondered, can you read about horror, or do you stay away from those two?
I have before, but generally I stay away from those. Although, you playing that Harry Potter music makes me want to go back to Harry Potter Land in Orlando.
Bloody hell, she's got to get her priorities straight. So, actually, you don't have, well, how patient are you? Because in about 2-3 years, it's actually coming to you, to the one in Hollywood.
Oh, that's awesome. I wish Star Wars Land would come here sooner as well.
It's kind of already there. Star Tours are just expanded, because they do own it. They can do whatever they want with it now.
I know, but they're building like the big Star Wars section of the park in Orlando, and I want that here now. Thanks.
Rachel demands it now. Hey, you.
Why is that so difficult? Come on, just put it in both parks at one time.
What are we talking about? Oh yeah, books. The book club. That's what we're doing here. How did we get to talk? How did we get to talk to Star Wars? Luke, who's the co-host. So you want to go first, or you want me to go first with the books?
Yes. Well, no, I'm going to go first because speaking of Star Wars. I haven't had a Star Wars book in a while. Thank you. Yeah. So I'm going to go with that. And the reason is because all the speculation, because my name is Rachel. All the speculation for episode 7, as people are asking me about it and as we have conversations about all these things, I always refer to this one book and what I think episode 7 is going to be centered around. And I always say it's going to be like Luke and rebuilding the Jedi Academy. And all that stuff that happens. And there's one book called Jedi Search. It's the one by Kevin Anderson, and it's the first one in the Jedi Academy trilogy. That book is the one that I'm thinking of when I'm talking to people about what I think the movie's going to be about. So basically what happens is the Jedi twins, Jason and Jaina, are starting to use their powers and figure out, who they are and what they can do. And there's still the Republic remnants and there's still Imperial remnants. And so it's this big, weird place to be learning how to be a Jedi again. So Luke goes and starts trying to set up a new Jedi Academy, right, to help out with all this and to try to bring some more Jedi to the universe. And then, of course, there's Han and Chewie in there, which we already know Harrison Ford's going to be in the new one. They go to Kessel. they find a new weapon that's even worse than the Death Star. And Luke and Han have to go, of course, and team up again and try to get rid of it and save solar systems and all of those things. So it's perfect setting for episode 7. So yeah, Jedi Search is what I think it's going to be like based around.
Like one of our original producers used to ask, let me ask you this. I do listen to a lot of podcasts besides just our own. I forget who it was now, actually, because I listened to so many. But one of them, they got into a Star Wars discussion, and what they want to see in the new JJ Star Wars is not a lot of the big three, not a lot of Luke, Han, and Leia. They want them in the background. They want them to have, the way they put it, they want them to have as many lines as Jar Jar Binks had in episode 1. I mean, in episode 3, which was not too much.
But yeah.
They're ready for the next generation now. Hit girl Chloe Grace Moretz now is what she's going. She's actually one of our Twitter followers, our show Twitter followers, and it was done by fans, and she put it up on her Twitter. She posted a picture. It was done by fans, obviously on Photoshop or something. It's Han Solo from the original trilogy and Chloe as Jaina. How would you feel with seeing Chloe as Jaina?
I don't know. I mean, I guess it would depend on if she can pull off what Jaina is to all of us, and that is a leader, and at the same time, you know, she's still a little girl and trying to deal with all of these things and pulling off that sweetness, but she's got the sass, of course, from Han, and that's kind of a hard balance to do on screen. So I guess it depends on how good she could do that.
Yeah, I kind of. See, and again, this is just speculation from all of us. It's going to be until literally hours before opening day on May 25th, 2015, because that's the JJ way. That's the bad robot way. That's how they work. But what I want to see is the first one, because it's going to be 3, obviously, but the first one should be kind of a passing of the torch kind of movie where, we do see a lot of Luke, Han, and Leia. And really, I wouldn't hate JJ forever, not just because he's JJ, but if one of them actually dies, Han, Luke, Leia, one of them, that'll show us that, yeah, we're ready to pass it on to the next generation because one of them's missing already.
Yeah, but they don't die yet. There's so many books and so, like, you can't mess with the universe that much.
You can't, but you also can't. There's one thing that the Force or anybody will never beat, and that's time. You know, we can only have him for so long before, you know, even Indiana Jones. It was kind of believable, but I see, you know, even though we hated that, but I see why they give everything to Shia LaBeouf because, you know, he's in his prime. He can still jump around and punch and take a punch and all that. Whereas Indiana Jones, he'd be Han. Whereas Indiana Jones, you know, he gets hit and everything, and you still have the, you know, the Ben Burtt sound effects, those big sound effects. But it wasn't. Not like in Raiders, especially there, you actually believe that they could actually really beat him up to the point of almost killing him.
The reason why I'm so sure about this kind of being the center of where this is going is also because the casting calls. I got to see what they're looking for right now, and they are looking for the age ranges and male female roles that match up with the Jedi twins.
And keeping it in universe. Even Yoda died. Even Darth Vader died. So why can't Luke die?
He can. It's just he can't now because the time period this is taking place, he's still alive. It's already been written. Don't mess with it.
Always in motion, the future is.
Anyway, what is your book?
Well, not a Star Wars book. See, as we get closer, a lot of the Geek Speak shows, we should call it the Star Wars Speak show because it's gonna turn into that. You just know it. So get ready for that as we get closer to episode 7. But mine, speaking of, it's a movie that's going to be released this weekend, Pacific Rim. It came out last month. I didn't get a chance to read it. Finally got it. It's called Pacific Rim Tales from Year Zero. It's a graphic novel. It's presented by Guillermo del Toro. He gave him some ideas, but it's written by Travis Beacham, who also wrote the Pacific Rim movie. Cool cover by Alex Ross here. I'll show you. Everybody else can't see it. It actually it's pretty good. It sets up everything that you're going to see in Pacific Rim in the movie. From what I understand, no spoilers or anything, but the opening 18 minutes of Pacific Rim are complete destruction. And I've been told this is a movie that we have to see in 3D, in IMAX 3D if we can, but you have to see this one in 3D because Guillermo did a great job of immersing you in the world of the huge giant. And by the way, let's get this straight. They're not robots, they're mechs. Robots, control themselves. Mechs are controlled by pilots.
Our suits, yeah.
And then we heard it earlier from Guillermo. He says it's called the drift when they connect the minds. See, I'm geeking out about Pacific Rim already, and I haven't even seen it yet. But this one, sets up all the stories there. I think I mentioned it once before. If you guys want to get the complete Pacific Rim experience, get this one. It's still in stores. Pacific Rim Tales from Year Zero from Legendary Comics, not from Marvel, DC, or anybody else. It's from Legendary Comics. But it's called, again, Pacific Rim Tales from Year Zero. It shows where the kaiju... It actually, in the back, it has their names. So when you see the monsters up on screen, you're actually going to know their names. It doesn't have the names for the Jaegers, but I think the only one that's going to matter anyway is the one that you've seen. You got the blue and gold and red stripe one, Gypsy Danger. That's going to be the main one. So again, Pacific Rim Tales from Year Zero. That's my book. That's the one you guys should get if you want to get the complete Pacific Rim experience.
Which you do. Let's be real.
These are the movies that made you a geek. Except for the part where you haven't seen them. Geek Movie Rewind with Michelle G on the Geek Speak Show.
So for my first Geek Movie Rewind, I figured I'd start with my favorite geek movie, The Goonies. If you call yourself a geek, and you must, that's why you're listening to this podcast, but you haven't seen The Goonies, then run or steal a little girl's bike and get to your nearest store and buy The Goonies. Buy, don't rent. This movie demands to be in your movie library. The Goonies is a 1985 movie directed by Richard Donner from a screenplay by Chris Columbus, which came from a story by Steven Spielberg. If those names didn't get you, the plot will. The Goonies are a bunch of kids who live in the Boondocks section of Astoria, Oregon. As the movie opens, we're treated to a daring jailbreak by Jake Fratelli with the help of Mama and Francis Fratelli. As a high-speed chase ensues through the streets of Astoria, we get our first look at the kids who we will learn shortly are the Goonies. Andy, Steph, Data, Chunk, and Mouth. The two final members, Mikey and Bran Walsh, are shown at their house as they're waking up to what will be their last weekend as Goonies, because their houses have been bought by a smarmy businessman and will be turned into a golf course. Long story short, the kids, except for Andy and Steph, gather at the Walsh house to plan their last adventure. They head to the attic where they find an old treasure map and decide to follow it in hopes of finding the treasure and using it to pay to keep their homes and continue to live in the Boondocks. Stand By Me has been called the perfect coming-of-age movie, but The Goonies is the perfect coming-of-age story for geeks and nerds. While some of the situations are a bit over the top, there are plenty of moments that will have you identifying with one or all of the Goonies. There are plenty of moments and quotes that are still part of our geek lexicon, or will be once you watch it. As you watch the movie, keep an eye out for these extra cool tidbits. Every time something dramatic happened on screen, Richard Donner will tell the kids, "Big eyes," so look out for big eyes through the whole movie. Ke Huy Quan, who played Data, promised his mother he would never swear on camera, so when the scene called for Data to use his potty mouth, he instead spelled holy S-H-I-T. The scene where they find the pirate ship was the first time the kids actually saw the set because Richard Donner wouldn't let them see the set before filming. And when all the kids reunited with their parents at the end, those are their real-life parents, not actors. Also look for a cameo from Richard Donner towards the end. So watch The Goonies and you'll know why the Goonies never say die.
These are the movies that made you a geek. Geek Movie Rewind with Michelle G. Send your suggestions to Michelle at thegeekspeakshow.com.
Hi, I'm Chris Hardwick. You are watching and or listening to Geek Speak Show. They're listening. You're consuming. You're watching it with your ears. Oh, you just listen.
Yes, just listening. Speaking of Chris Hardwick, Horse of the Force, episode 2 going on now. It's going to be leaving San Francisco, I believe, tonight or early tomorrow morning, making its way to San Diego. And you're going to be, well, you're kind of already there, halfway there. Yeah. You're gonna make your way to San Diego. A lot of you listening are gonna be making your way to San Diego. So if we don't get the same amount of downloads, I understand. But I would say, especially if you're gonna take a long, because it's a long road trip driving to San Diego, download not only the next week's episode of this one, a few of our episodes. Listen on the way there. Like Rachel with Fallen Skies, catch up on the Geek Speak Show, what you've missed, and find out why we are the Geek Speak Shows, why we speak geek on here. But as we always do every year now, it's turned into an annual thing. We're going to do our big Comic-Con show. I'm going to kick it off, of course, with David Glanzer. Wouldn't be a WonderCon or Comic-Con or Ape show later in the year if we don't talk to David Glanzer. He's the one that puts the whole thing together for you guys, so we might as well talk to him. Like I said, we'll talk to him about, I don't think they did, but did they do it on purpose? That big, huge TV presence, not only at Comic-Con, but in Hall H, because I think they understand the fact, like I said, there's a lot of genre TV, real good genre TV on TV right now at the moment. So it's all going to be presented for you guys there.
So it works out.
Yeah, we're also going to talk to Mark Zicree. He's got some updates on Space Command, and we'll ask him again, are you going to blow up Rachel or not? Because I know it sounds weird, but she really wants to be blown up. I know, she's like that. Drea's going to come back again. Like I said, I mentioned also earlier in the show, she has 3. She started with 1, the Trek versus Wars Part 2 panel that they had at the one that they had at WonderCon. Then we had it here on the show with Rod. She's going to do it again at Comic-Con, but now she's got 2 more panels. One is something about DC Comics, the villains. I think they're going to talk about those, the Trek versus Wars one, and then also she's going to be part of the most dangerous women at Comic-Con panel. That one,
Ooh.
she said it's actually more autobiographical, talks about her. She's not dangerous like that, but dangerous in that they're so talented and you know they have a big presence in the internets and social media and everything. That's what the panel's about. So
Yeah, dangerous as in powerful.
another friend of yours, and I think she's gonna talk to her backstage about all the Walking Dead stuff. Ashley is gonna be on that panel also with Drea. We'll talk to Drea about all of those. We'll also and again, we're not going to talk to the big panel. We're not going to talk to Marvel agents. We could have had Jeff Lowe. He's a good friend of the show. He comes on all the time, but they don't really need our help. You guys know what's happening. You guys know that they're there. The banners are everywhere. We're going to talk to the smaller panels, the ones in the smaller ballrooms, so you guys can go to those. Yeah, I know it's going to be kind of hard to decide between. I don't know. Do you want to sit on the panel with Joss Whedon, or do you want to sit in the panel with Optimus Prime? Because Hasbro's going to have a Transformers 30th anniversary panel in one of the ballrooms. We'll talk to some of them. I'm also going to talk to some of the creators, because it's not the same people from the last time, of the new video game, the Batman video game, Batman Arkham Origins. They'll come on and talk to us. They won't give it the whole thing away. They'll tease us a little bit what's coming up. What we can expect from Arkham Origins. Last night, whenever it was, I was telling Rachel it was kind of cool. I spent most of the day emailing back and forth with Will Wheaton, as Chris Hardwick calls him sometimes. But we were emailing back and forth about getting times right, because you can come on and talk about Woodstock. That's going to be happening, I think, the night of preview night, which is Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, that is. So
Woodstock will be happening, not part of San Diego Comic-Con, but it'll be happening in San Diego at around the same time, and it's going to be attended by the same people who go to Comic-Con anyway. Let's be honest. So he may come on. If not him, one of the other guys, either Paul and Storm or Adam Savage or Will Wheaton, and tell us all about Woodstock and maybe get you guys to go there, as if you needed any more prodding. And there may be some other surprises on next week's show. We'll have the features. We'll have a lot of fun. We'll start getting ready for Comic-Con. And that's it, I think. So I think that's more than enough. We haven't even started yet.
There's a lot of stuff.
I'm already tired. I'm not going to be there this year, not because of, not like Rod, that his wife is giving birth to the next Roddenberry. Not me. I had nothing to do with that. But I won't be there because I have some other things to take care of here, technically, on the show. Some cameras and stuff for the video show that I got to do stuff. But everybody else will be there. You're going to be there. The Marks will be there. Our new movie guy, you heard him earlier, Pacing Pete. I was going to call him Pistol Pete, but Pacing Pete, he's going to be there. He said he's been called that before. I won't ask why. I don't want to know why. I don't think.
Let's leave that alone.
But they'll be there, and you guys will probably see them, interviewing people or interviewing you. You can say hi to them if you want. Rachel's really friendly.
And
All
we'll
of them
be
are really
at
friendly.
Andrea's panels, of course, and we'll go see Mark Zicree. And you guys know, as well as I do, we're also there for the exclusives. So we'll have to be at those booths trying to get all our merchandise.
If you guys go to the Trek versus Wars panel, when you hear the loudest voice screaming, no, Star Wars is better because of this, look behind you or in front of you. That's probably Rachel. And you say, oh, there's Rachel. Yeah, I knew she was.
I get very heated about this.
Yes, she does. You guys heard her on the show when we did that. So that'll be happening next week. Come on back and we'll speak more geek and get you all ready for that little thing in San Diego.
Henry and the gang will return next week with an all-new episode. The Geek Speak Show is powered by GeekTyrant.com, MightyVille.com, RamasScreen.com, Zergnet.com, and Collider.com. Make sure you're subscribed on iTunes, follow them on Twitter at Geek Speak Show 1, become a fan on Facebook, and watch event coverage on YouTube/Geek Speak videos. See you next week. Cheerio.
The Geek Speak Show.